Hey friends, it's Tracy. I am back again with more Christmas in July crafts to share with you. My flip-flop Santa, my cheesy Christmas lights, and my upbeat beach music is back again to share some of my Christmas crafts with you. All right guys, let's go ahead and get started and I will share what I have for you. I'm using one of these Santas from the Dollar Tree. Now I should have heated up and taken off the brim and the mustache, but I just was going to wing it, and it ended up taking me more time. So if you can get those off, if you want to repaint this, that would be awesome. Anyway, so the first thing I did is I just took my pencil and drew out a face, like where it separated the face and the beard. I'm using the color medium flesh. It's by Ceramicoat. It's my favorite flesh color for my Santas. And so I'm just using a flat paintbrush and just going around and painting it the best that I can. But I'm like, oh, this is not really working. But I just took my time and just went with it and just made sure that everything was painted. Now I'm going to give each section 2 coats of the paint. When I get to the hat, I'm using my favorite Santa hat color, which is Barn Red, and just using, I should have used a larger brush size, but this one was the one that I was using, so I'm like, I just went with it. Anyway, so I'm just painting the sides as well as, the top with Barn Red. And once I finish that, I'm going to go back. I'm using warm white for the beard and just using that like for the mustache as well as the beard. And so that's what I'm showing right there. And I kind of had to go on the sides, and then it was getting on the other part. And so I'm like, gosh darn it, Tracy, you should have just taken the time to take those little pieces off the best you can so that you would not have this issue, guys. I was really struggling this day when I was doing this. Anyway, so what you also saw me do was just pencil out the area for his nose. And so then now I'm just going back and just once that is all completely dry, we've reached my favorite part of the video, or my favorite part to any project is the detailing. Guys, you will hear me say many times that the beauty is in the details. And so I love to shadow my projects, and there, different painters shadow different ways, but how I do it, I'm using a 1/8 of an inch flat paintbrush and just going around and just doing some shadowing. I dip half of my brush in paint, the other half in clean water, and then I blend on a paper towel. Then I go around the edges of my painted projects just to give it some shadowing. I'm using the color Light Cinnamon. This is an Americana brand, and what you can see right there is I got too heavy-handed on my shadowing, because yes, I left that in because I just want to share for those of you that like to watch me paint. I do have errors, and I do have to go back and kind of clean up, and I leave this in. I share this with you to say that no matter how long have you been painting, how long have you been crafting, you're still going to have some oopsies or some things that you're like, that doesn't look too good. So anyway, I'm going to show you in a minute how I go back and I fix that, because I do want to encourage anyone that wants to learn how to paint or hand letter or just craft like this. Just take your time, go back and fix it. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the white, just to go around and add some white shadowing to the outside of the hat, as well as I will go back and fix some of the white on that brown where I got a little bit too heavy-handed. I'm going to go ahead and add some white to that so that it blends in a bit more. So like I share, I try to share. I tried to be encouraging just to say if it's not what you want, then we're going to go back and fix that. Okay, I'm just taking a stencil brush and I am taking some coral color paint and I'm just stippling some cheeks on. I like my cheeks more rectangle up and down, so that's why I do that. Then I'm going to draw on some eyes. Now, once this project was totally finished, I wish I would have made my eyes a little bit bigger, but that's okay. This is my first Santa that I've painted this season, as well as one of these that I painted from the Dollar Tree, but I know from now on what I want to do for my next Santa project. So what I do is I like the more almond shape eyes, and so I do that, and then I go back in. First I start with a black marker, then I go back in and fill it in with paint. Okay, so then I have a very loved thin liner brush that has been with me for many years that I make some eyelashes. Then now I'm just going back and just taking a brush and just going and putting Santa in some eyebrows. Then I take that very loved liner brush. It's missing some bristles. It's been with me for a long time, like 20 years plus. And I just go and make the whites of the eyes, as well as just add some character for his cheeks. I give him a little swoosh for his nose, and then we're going to move on to the next step. So I love my black Sharpie marker. It is my best friend, and so I just go around and outline everything just to make my painted projects pop. Now I'm going to move on to highlighting and just taking a number 2 liner brush that is also in that paint pack that I shared earlier. And those are listed in my Amazon store if you are interested. Okay, so then I just go around and just add some highlight. Now I want to share this with you. I've been paint splattering for many years, a long time. And I still get a little heavy sometimes. You can see on Santa's the ball of his hat, I'm like, oh goodness, girl, you got a little too heavy there. So what I'm going to try to do is because I don't want to repaint this, I'm going to try to take some white and kind of mask that a little bit. And then that was coming on a little thick too. So we were really paint splattering that day when I was doing this video. I share this with you only because it happens to me too. Hey guys, make sure that you protect your area, your cover, your table or whatever, because paint splattering is messy. For my jolly, I'm going to use my paint marker, my Posca 5M, and I just hand lettered Jolly, just adding some happy dots on there as well. I put it off to the side because I'm going to be adding some pine and some homespun fabric to the other side of his hat. Now, I've discovered this Americana gloss sealer. I got this at Michael's, and I use this because for my painted projects that I hand letter with the Posca pens, because they do have a tendency to smear with the liquid brush on varnish. I found this and it works good. They have a matte and they also have a gloss, and I found it at Michael's. Now I'm going to move on to the tag. Now this tag is from the Dollar Tree, and I just took off that bottom part, and then I was going to try to remove the paper, but I'm like, why, girl? You're just going to cover it up anyway. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll use the back, and I used my heat tool to get off those stickers, but I'm just going to cover it up, and I just went with the front anyway. So this is the paper I'm using. This is the pad it came from. It is from the Paper Studio, which is a Habe Labe brand. So what I need to do is, because the paper's not quite long enough, I need to piece it together, which I did with no problem. I used some Mod Podge just to attach the paper, smooth everything out, and then we're moving on and we'll complete this tag. Just turning out so cute. Totally my style. I wanted to add a bit of whimsy to my sign, so I pulled out some rickrack. Now I got this at Hobby Lobby. Just cut it down to size using my Fabri-Tac glue as well as some hot glue, and just putting 2 pieces of the rickrack, one at the top and one at the bottom. Now to attach my Santa, I like dimension and I like my signs to have some dimension. So what I used is some tumbling tower blocks that I already had painted for a different project and decided not to use. So they turned out perfect for this particular project. So to get my, just to make sure everything is nice and secure, I like to use E6000 as well as hot glue to glue everything down. So then my sign is all finished. I just thought it was finished. I need to make a bow for my Santa. Yes, Santa can have a bow, a cute, whimsical country bow. So I'm using some homespun. Now I've been getting some questions about where people can buy homespun fabric. You can get that, guys, at Walmart, Joann Fabrics, Hobby Lobby has it. Also, there is a place that I found online called Jubilee Fabrics. I will have a link in the description box if you cannot find it in your hometown, because they do ship. Okay, so I just cut off 2 strips of that. I'm also using 3 20mm jingle bells. Now I got those jingle bells from Hobby Lobby many years ago, but I do have some linked in my Amazon store if you cannot find them. So I'm using some pine. I just cut that pine in half, and then I just have some sisal twine that I made a small bow. So at first I was going to thread on my jingle bells with a pipe cleaner, and I had like a why is this not working? And I'm like, you silly girl, you don't use pipe cleaners, you use wire. So I go back in a bit and take off that pipe cleaner with those jingle bells and use my wire, my thin wire that I like to get from the Dollar Tree in the automotive section. That is my favorite wire right now. And so I'm kind of struggling with this. I'm like, why is this not twisting? Why is this not working too good? And so I kept this in here to share my struggles with you guys, because I do. I share this only to encourage you. My projects have a lot of different steps, and I am so grateful that there are so many friends that appreciate it and that leave me the sweetest comments to say that you have learned so much just by watching. It's very entertaining. You shared some of your struggles and your stories with me, and I am so grateful that you are here. So at this point, I'm like, oh, I forgot to put my sisal twine bow in there. So I just kind of tucked it in underneath there and made sure that everything was nice and secure. Now for the top, I just cut out a circle and then just punched out another circle on the top, just to give it just some decoration at the top. Okay guys, here are more videos for you to watch in this Christmas in July series, as well as other videos that I have on my channel. If you click on my little picture, that will allow you to subscribe to my channel and we can become great friends. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you in the next video.